morning, ladies and gents, and welcome back to the Small Brain Pilot channel. Today we're parked here at Soekarno Hatta International Airport at Jakarta in the beautiful Singapore Airlines 777-300ER. Not only are we in Singapore Airlines, we're rocking the beautiful Star Alliance livery. As you can see in the background, there's another Singapore Airlines aircraft that's parked here, also headed towards Changi. By the way, we're headed towards Singapore Changi, if that wasn't obvious. We're going to be trying to beat that and hopefully be the better Singapore Airlines aircraft. So without further ado, let's get started with the walk around. And here we are in the cockpit of the Boeing 777-300ER. The aircraft is a bit started up because I had to do it to connect the jetway, but don't worry, I am a real man. It was from cold and dark earlier. Without further ado, I'm going to get the aircraft configured, get the FMC plan routed in, and I will be seeing you guys once we're ready for APU startup and pushback. Alright, the aircraft is configured, flight plan is loaded in, so we are ready for APU startup. To start up the APU, we're going to come up here towards the overhead panel, flick the APU switch to on, and to the start position. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, the APU should come up now. We can watch the ECAM, and once you have the APU running message there, it's ready. Alright, once we have the APU running text over there, we can come up here, turn on the APU generator, disconnect external power, and with that being said, we're ready for pushback after we turn on the fuel pumps. Can't forget about that. And okay, so that should be us, and that is our competition, the Airbus A350 for Singapore Airlines pushing back. We need to beat that to Changi, so without further ado guys, let's get our pushback underway. Alright, ladies and gents, now that we've pushed back here at Jakarta, we can go ahead and get our engine started. So to get our engine started, we're going to come up here and ensure that the beacon light has been turned on. With that being said, we can come up here to the auto start. We can flick the starter for the right to the start position, come down here and throw in the fuel. Once the right hand engine is spooled up, we can repeat the same process for the left engine, but first we need to make sure the bleed is on. Once that is done, we can flick the starter for the left to the start position and throw in the fuel. And while we wait for the engines to spool up, we can also take this time to set flaps for departure. So flaps today are flaps 15. And that should be flaps 15. Once the flaps are set, we can come up over here, turn on the bleed, turn on the runway turn off lights and the taxi lights. With that being said, folks, we're ready for taxi. I'm going to taxi out to the runway and I'll see you guys once we're ready for departure out of Jakarta.
Welcome aboard Singapore Airlines. As the safety equipment on this aircraft may differ from that on other aircraft, please give us your attention as we bring you through this important safety briefing and on a journey through Singapore.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we are coming up to the runway, but as you can see, we have quite a bit of a line to take off out of Jakarta here. We have roughly 3 aircraft in front of us. There's an AirAsia A320neo. There is the Airbus A350 that we're trying to beat to Changi, and I believe that is another 737 in front of us. Anyways, I'm going to get in line and I'll catch you guys once we're ready for the actual takeoff. Alright, after waiting in line for a while, it's finally our turn to line up on the runway and take off. There's an AirAsia A320 just landed in front of us. We're going to wait for it to clear the runway before we start off our takeoff roll. As you can also see, we are now on runway 07 left instead of 25 right. We had to change the runway en route to taxi due to a weather change and also seeing where all the AI aircraft were going. So I want to stay in the pattern. Anyways, I'm going to get the parking brake set here and I'm going to wait a few minutes for the Airbus. Well, a few seconds for the Airbus to clear the runway and then we'll begin our own takeoff roll. Alright, with the aircraft now clear of the runway, we can start our own takeoff roll. So without further ado, let's get started. Parking brake disconnect. Put the throttles up to 50%. Engine power is increasing well. No error messages. We can continue with the takeoff. Alright. So with that being said, Toga. Thrust set. Airspeed's alive. 80 knots. V1, rotate. Pull back gently on the stick. Keep wings level. Bit of stutter there. Let's ignore that. Positive rate of climb. Gear up. Alright, so we've taken off out of Jakarta. I'll catch you guys once we are on short final into Singapore. Enjoy the cruise because it is one beautiful flight. Ladies and gents, here we are on short final into Singapore after approximately hour and a half flight from Indonesia, Jakarta. The autopilot's in right now. We're nearly 1,000 feet. We're good with the runway. I'm going to be taking manual control of the aircraft. Autopilot disengaged. Hopefully I can do a better center line than I have been doing the past few days. 1,000's over there. Just going to follow the flight directors. Drifting a bit. We have a bit of a headwind / crosswind. I'm extremely determined not to have a bad landing here. After that flight, I really want to butter the bread.
Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink.
Are you okay, aircraft?
Don't sink. Don't sink.
Alright.
Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink.
Let's level up
Don't
the
sink.
aircraft. We're perfect on the
Don't
glide
sink.
slope. I don't know why it's saying don't
Don't
sink.
sink.
I'm
Don't
just gonna
sink.
ignore that. A
Don't
bit
sink.
high.
Don't sink. Don't sink.
It's okay. It's
Don't
okay,
sink.
puppy. It's okay, baby.
Don't sink. Don't
It's
sink.
okay, aircraft.
Don't sink. Don't
Wings
sink.
level.
Don't sink. Don't sink.
Here we go.
Don't sink. Don't sink.
Disconnect the auto
Don't
throttle
sink.
now.
Don't sink.
Take in
Don't
manual
sink.
control.
Don't sink. Don't sink.
Throttle back.
Don't sink. Don't sink.
There we go.
Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't
Over the
sink.
runway threshold now.
Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. 20.
20. Idle.
10.
Bit of a float. And touchdown. That is butter. Reversers engaged. Aircraft decel. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Singapore Changi International Airport. We are decelling very well. I'm gonna get the aircraft taxied over to the gate and I'll see you guys once we're ready for engine shutdown. Alright, ladies and gents, we've made it here to the gate at Singapore Changi International. We're at gate C20. We can come up here, we can verify that the APU is on, APU is running. We can turn off our taxi lights, runway turn off lights, and the beacon lights. And with that being said, we can shut down our engines. And as the engines cool down, we can also bring in the jetway to be connected as it's coming in. With that being said, folks, we have once again concluded another gorgeous flight for the Small Brain Pilot channel. Today's flight, roughly 2 hours. Very cloudy weather, low visibility, and it was just a beautiful flight in and out. Thank you guys for watching the Small Brain Pilot channel. If you guys have any suggestions, any comments, please leave them down below. And I'll be catching you guys in the next flight. Happy flying, bye-bye, and also au revoir to the Finnair A350 taxiing to the runway in the background. Anyways guys, bye-bye.